Yeah.
5 minutes late could be a yellow card coming.
I mean, probably yellow, reds, all sorts. We're live. Here we go. Finally, we have the internet liftoff. Galimera, Galispera, Galinichta. No matter where in this wild and wacky and currently difficult world you might be, thank you for making the Highbury Squad part of your day. We are here. It is a new week. It is a blank canvas, and we are ready to paint pictures and tell stories with a very special guest. Let's rock and roll, squaddies. Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another live edition of the Highbury Squad. It's Monday Madness. Someone already taking precautions and putting their protective gear on. Let me first welcome my podcast brother from another mother, Mr. Super Kevin Campbell, back in the house.
Squaddies, good to see you. And on Monday Madness special, with a very, very special guest who's come back to join us. Thank you, Sophie. Thank you, Mr. R. And all you squaddies. At ease, squaddies. Let's go. At ease.
At ease. Before I welcome our special guest, I would like to admit I made a faux pas because I've been in, I don't know, the Middle East, Cyprus, Europe over the last 2 months. When I set the time for today's show, I set it for 4 a.m. where I was instead of 12 p.m. where I am now. But everyone will join, and there's already 100 plus of you in live chat, and they will gather as we go. But welcome, before I welcome the squaddies, back to Squad Central, one of our favorite football dads, Mr. Nick Ramsdale.
Thank you very much.
Are you wearing a mask because you're protecting your new grandson? What is up with the mask? Are you protecting yourself from me and my questions?
None whatsoever. A bit of an announcement in conjunction with, hold on, where's it gone?
I see what's happening here. Certain
Right.
time of the year.
And with Aaron talking to Mr. Ian Wright, and Aaron saying that he would nominate me to do Movember.
Is it a reveal?
Let's see. What, is there something there? Let me see, Clint Eastwood. Do I see anything? Oh, yeah, there's...
What do you mean, do you see anything? Look at that.
That is very Narcos right there. Yeah, I like that.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very good. It's not bad at all. Here's the picture you posted on social media. It seems to have evolved since then, Mr. Ramsdale. Kev, what's your take on the old tache? Can you grow one yourself?
I
Look
can
at this.
grow it.
All for charity. I love it.
I can grow it, but I won't. I'll leave it to... do you know what, Nick? You know what you look like? You look like a cowboy film baddie with that tache. All you need is the hat and the 6-shooter, mate, on your hip. Where's the hat? Has he got?
I have got a hat.
The bad and the ugly.
But it's not here. It's in the car.
Right. Okay.
I have got one.
I mean, is Caroline within earshot? Do we need to get that hat? I mean, it would have been good for the reveal, just saying.
For the reveal, for the look,
yeah.
It would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, can we go back and do it again?
Yeah, well, maybe. You're getting all the police academy, you're getting all the handlebars, you're getting all the great moustache, you're getting all the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
Bikers, tache.
Definite cowboy or a biker or something,
yeah.
Well,
look in the part, mate. Look in the part.
The thing is, because I'm losing it all out, but I'm all grey, and that's grey. I am going to do a just for men for the last week and just do the tache.
Right.
I don't know whether to be dark-haired or ginger-haired.
It's got to be dark. Do it black. Go on.
Yeah?
Do it
Do you
black.
reckon?
Yeah, and you know what I want you to send a picture in? You with the hat on with the dark tache.
Okay.
Definite
I'll do that.
film baddie. Definite.
Oh. I'll do that. Yeah.
I love that. We'll love that. We'll love
It's
that.
a little bit of Charles. Now you've mentioned the dark, Kev. There's a
Yes.
little bit of Charles Bronson going through my mind here with the
Yeah,
old.
I'm telling you.
His was a little bit thinner though, wasn't it, Charles Bronson?
It was. It
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
Which one?
Yeah.
The film actor or the prisoner?
The actor. No, that's
'Cause I've been-
Charles Manson, not
No.
No.
No, Charles Bronson is
really.
Yep.
UK
Wow, I need some
guy.
education there.
Yeah, Charlie
Yeah.
Bronson. Yeah.
Yeah, Charlie Bronson. Okay. Intro is lit, says Salou. Good evening to all of the squaddies in the house. We have all the usual suspects here. You know who you are. Suraj, Ugo Kochu. We've got Tammy. We've got Carol. We've got Lynn. We've got
So-
Guna Russ in the house. We've got them all.
Soph, you touched on it.
What did I
But
say?
there is some massive news in the Ramsdale household. Is there not?
I mean, Kev, tell them.
And I don't mean a Rolls Royce, but it's a double R in the Ramsdale household.
Love the name.
And I believe we've got a little Ronnie, new addition for Aaron and his beautiful missus.
Go on, Grandad.
And how proud are you, Nick? Because ever since I've mentioned it, your smile has just been massive.
I've got Aaron's smile. That's all I'm saying. We have Ronnie, named after my dad and Aaron's granddad.
Lovely.
So we've got Ronnie, and then he's also named after Georgina's father as well, which is Bernard. So they have covered every base, and he's doing very, very well.
Fantastic.
And he went to his first game on Saturday.
Oh, brilliant.
And because his daddy was sitting on the bench, he slept through it all.
Well,
Sorry,
hey,
Sophie.
Well, listen, that won't surprise me. Hey, listen, because he hasn't got his dad ain't in the fight yet, is it? So when his dad's in, I'm sure he'll be awake.
I mean, it was Burnley. Goalkeeper could have made afternoon tea, and served scones and clotted cream. But anyway, we'll get to all of that. You're getting a lot of love. Hello, little Soph. Welcome. Welcome to everyone. So happy for the family. Getting a lot of love. Future Guna says, Ian, congratulations to the Ramsdale family. So much love for you. And there has been a lot of love for you, Nick, as you well know, since you've been on the show. By the way, I have the most important question of the podcast, I think, Super Kev. Are you ready for it?
Yep, go on. Let's hear
Has
it.
Ronnie Ramsdale had his first Stella Artois?
Yes. It was on that little pinky.
Oh, love it.
Nobody knew until I was dobbed in
Oh no.
by Georgina's twin, who's helping out as well. And it was just you know where you need a dummy kind of thing apart from yourself, and then you just put a little bit on there, Kev, don't you? Whether it's brandy or whiskey or honey or it was a little bit of Stella.
Yeah.
And then he seemed to enjoy it.
He didn't cry, did he? That's for sure. I know that. He
No.
didn't cry.
So can I vouch? I want to vouch for you here.
Some more, so he wanted some more Stella, but at the prices they are, he could only have a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be careful with that. Can I just say, and for the Greek children in the chat, and there are usually a few Greek children in the chat, what Nick is talking about here, and I know with Kev's family, old school style, if we ever had a toothache back in the day or we weren't feeling tip top, the old dads used to just get a little Jack Daniels on the edge, a little Johnny Walker, I should say, on the edge of the finger, and they would apply it to the areas of issue. And, we kids just recovered very, very quickly, Super Kev. Was it not like that back in the day?
What? Jamaica White rum, overproof. And it weren't the pinky, the dad was the thumb. It's not the thumb there. I tell you, you couldn't feel anything else. Don't worry about that.
Oh
brilliant.
gosh, good stuff.
Brilliant times.
And you know
Great
what,
times.
Demsek, thank you. Yeah, the picture of the hands and Ronnie's feet on Aaron's Instagram is beautiful.
Special,
Please
special.
do go and check it out. And Cliff is backing you up on the white rum.
Yeah.
Tell them, Kev. We've got a lot of Jamaicans in the house
Yes, you know
as
that.
well. So yeah. The South London massive too. So
You know
thanks
that.
for everyone who's joining us, all 200 of you in live chat so far. Hit that like button, and
Yeah.
let's let's talk to my favorite football dads.
So have I got your permission then, Kev, to do the old?
Yeah, but not with Ronnie right now. You could do the fun with Stella at the moment. But
Okay.
as he gets a bit older, the Stella's not going to do it anymore. That's when you need a little bit more of the hard stuff.
So what we're
It
talking,
sounds
4
terrible,
weeks?
doesn't it? It sounds terrible.
You're gonna have to wait, maybe not weeks.
Yeah,
Nick,
yeah,
maybe a few
months.
years.
No, a few
Oh.
months.
Oh, a
Get
few
out.
months. Oh wow,
few
look at
months.
you. Wow.
God.
Yeah.
not worth doing,
Okay.
is it?
Well, everyone's on the rum now, and the Barbados rum and dark rum.
Yeah.
Now there's a whole rum conversation going on in
Well,
I've got
live
some
chat.
Devon rum.
We are in November, so come on.
Back in the day,
I've got some Devon rum.
That'll
Devon.
do.
Is that
Devon,
like
hold on.
village? Is that like village stuff like we have in Cyprus, where they bring you
No, hold on.
that drink I told you about, Kev, Zivania? I got
Oh,
some
I've-
homemade stuff of it.
I've had some of that before.
That
I've had some of that before.
makes vodka look like a Disney movie.
So
Our
that is
summer
similar.
holidays
Oh,
Yeah.
Devon rum.
down in
Look at that.
Devon.
Yeah.
Devon rum.
Yeah.
Impressed.
So Zivania is more like Jamaican white.
It's it makes I bet it makes that Devon rum seem amateurish. I mean, Zivania is just on a totally different level.
Rocket fuel. That's what
It is. They
And
used to.
there's one even worse called Jankrabati. Woo! So you know what I mean.
And then he's getting excited. Oh, we got Flex in the house. Hello,
Nice
Flex.
one.
Yeah. And Vinny's getting excited all this rock and stuff. So
I'll tell you
Welsh
what,
whiskey. Welsh whiskey,
Oh.
Kev.
But one thing, there is Welsh. One thing I will put out there with Nick here, as you mentioned, us we're football dads. Do you know what? Whatever the sons are doing, unfortunately, there's very little we can do to change the situation. So we've got to try and do things. Is that right, Nick? We've got to do things to try and keep ourselves occupied and the family occupied while we support, because it's not easy.
Most definitely. Yep. No, it's not. And by the way, I've got some Brecon botanical gin as well from Wales.
Well, let me tell you something. We've started a new brand. Lone Star's not the only one. Nick Ramsdale.
Ramsdale, yeah.
Okay, we got Ramsdale. We got a new drink. And welcome to James Green in the house as well. James Green, a good friend of the show, from Sky Sports, and many others here listening to the show this evening. Kev brings up a really good point, because there's a lot going on in people's lives right now. There's definitely a lot going on in mine. And my description of me today, not my name, is in honor of my mama. And by the way, Tom Canton from Guna Talk TV thinks this is the best intro to any show he's watched. We love Tom, and we love Tom's work. Well done, Tom. Keep smashing it.
Brilliant guy.
Top shelf.
With really good
Super
content
classy.
himself.
Yeah, absolutely. You haven't met him yet, Nick, but when you do, you'll absolutely love him. I'm
sure I will. I'm sure I will.
You will. Yeah, we vouch for Tom. And there's been a lot going on, as much as the excitement of baby Ronnie and becoming a granddad. By the way, do you like being called granddad? Let's get that straight before we.
No, it's horrible. Horrible. Absolutely.
I mean, Kev's far away from being a granddad.
I detest it. It's just absolutely. What do you reckon?
He loves it. Look at that smile. He loves it.
We've got Nora Edwards' daughter. We look after her so like 2 days a week. She's asleep upstairs. So no, love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it.
Love it. Love it.
Who
Brilliant.
would not love it?
You know, you know what my parents said? My parents say that being a grandparent is actually more fun than being a parent.
Oh yeah.
Well, number one, you get to give them away at the end of the day,
Give
which
'em
as an
back.
aunt, I love to do. Yeah,
You
give
get
them
to
back.
Give them back.
Yeah, you
Send
can't give
those
them
little
away.
fuckers back.
I think giving them away is a little bit sort of like illegal.
Yeah.
Giving them back
probably.
might be ideal.
Yeah.
Give them away. Excuse me, do you want me grandson? No problem at all.
Here's a Ronnie.
Yeah.
Good evening to our good friend Fergus at Guns and Yellow Ribbons as well in the house. Thanks, Fergus, for joining us. Someone asked me to ask you to tell you that Arthur says hello, Nick. Do you know an Arthur? Not Arthur Daly, but an Arthur. Are you aware of an Arthur in your life?
Well, Arthur used to be the twin brother of my father.
Oh.
But I don't think it's him because he died last year.
Right.
But then again, it might be a seance and we might be going around like that and
yeah, maybe
all of that kind of thing.
Too soon for that, I think. Too soon. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's talk. Let's get stuck into it.
Arthur Aquanco, who's goalkeeper Arsenal, and
I think that's who Arthur. Not Arthur Guinness.
No, Arthur. He was. I'm being serious now.
Arthur Guinness. Arthur.
Just not very often.
That is kind of funny.
Always to do with booze, isn't it? Arthur Guinness.
I can't. I tell you, we're trying to be serious here, and all of a sudden, Arthur Guinness. Arthur and his buddy Arthur Lager.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny about that though? I found this picture at Heathrow Airport, and they reminded me of you. It's a lager brand. Trust me, I'm a lager. They sell it at Heathrow Airport. Anyway, go on.
You caught me.
Put it up there for you. Should have left it up there long enough.
Yep,
it's not Arthur Fowler either, Mark. Hilarious. Not EastEnders.
Arthur Quanco is now at Wrexham, and he was at Crewe, and he is Arsenal goalkeeper.
I think that's who Demsek is talking about. Good evening also to Harry Simiu, a very good friend of the show. We love Harry, love his work, his dulcet tones on BBC Radio London broadcasting on the Arsenal games. Always great to listen to. Love my boys and how well they're doing in the Arsenal universe right now. By the way, the tan has really faded. I've gone back to being super white. Even Nick is darker than me. What is that? I look so white, which doesn't really work these days, but here I am, you know.
We haven't got many light bulbs in the house.
I'm in shadow. Natural light. Natural light.
I'm amazed. Right. I'm amazed. I've actually got the microphone turned up, let alone the lighting.
You logged in without Aaron. You're here without. I mean, you did it all on your own. I don't even think Caroline helped you today, did she? Did you log in all on your own without anyone's help? Yeah. Well done. Well done. Let's talk football, shall we? I know he's a little
He's playing.
Mr. Campbell, what the hell are you doing?
I look at you and I know, Nick. I just know it.
Do you know where I want to start with you two? I want to start in this place before we get stuck into some nuts and bolts. Because when we first started talking on the Highbury Squad, we started a series called Football Dads. And I love the perspective of the two of you. Both have sons playing in the game and playing at the top level, and also being dads and having to deal with things that happen around the game and being protective. I know how my dad actually lets people abuse me, but that's a whole other conversation. No, not really. And what that feels like. And Nick, you know, there's a lot of things that Jamie Carragher says often and Danny Murphy says often and all these folks say often. And I know that Kev has to hear it as well about his sons and has done and dealt with other things on a whole other level. But let's start there. Like, how hard is it to keep your mouth shut when you want to protect your son?
Well, I don't really keep my mouth shut, do I? That's my problem. Even when I'm in Spain, it's the unfounded stuff that you find difficult to keep quiet about. Football is all about opinions, and Kevin knows this, and you know this as well, Sophie. But when people who don't even know your son or know your family then start questioning Edward or Oliver or Caroline or me or Aaron, then you have to speak up. If somebody says he's not a good goalkeeper for this reason, that reason, or I just don't like him, I don't like his attitude, then fair enough. But if you then start questioning the way he was brought up or the way he's perceived, then I then get, and I think justly, the hackles go up on the back of me neck, and then you have to say stuff, even though I've been told not to, and I've been told not to go on social media, and I've been told not to go on forums, and sometimes you just find it difficult. And Mr. Carragher, because that's what you're asking, he was talking as that my lad was a phony. He doesn't know Aaron. He doesn't know whether he's a phony or not. He was in front of millions of people watching Sky and watching Sky all around the world, and he was judging my son, and he doesn't even know him. And if you look at Aaron has been, when he's been at England, whether it was under 19s, under 20s, 21s, and the full England, when he was at Chesterfield, when he was at Sheffield United, when he was Wimbledon, if he's not playing, what he does is he is wholeheartedly there in the group. Mm-hmm. And all Aaron did, David made a great save. Aaron was in awe of that save. He clapped and he turned to the right and he went, wow. I can't remember who was sitting next to him. If the cameras hadn't been on there, nobody would have known anyway. But then for Jamie Carragher then to turn around and go, well, he's a fake. Well, I'm sorry, you don't know the makeup of Aaron. And, you can say he's a terrible footballer or goalkeeper. That's your opinion. But judging the person that you've never met, how can you do that?
It attacks his character, Nick, doesn't it? As far as a dad, as far as I'm a dad, you're a dad. When somebody would say something like that about your son, it's like they're attacking his character.
That was the word. That was the word I was trying to find. Character, because he doesn't know him. He doesn't know his character. He doesn't know that when he comes back up to Stoke and his mates are playing Sunday morning football for the Crown, he goes down and watches because they're his mates, and he comes up and he sees them. That's his character. He doesn't sit in a ivory tower or in his house and forget everybody
and sulk. Yeah,
he sees his mates. He's got his mates from Sheffield United now. One plays for Halifax. He's just done his knee ligaments in. Joe Cummins. He's only just got back into football. He's now going to have most of the season off. He talks to Joe all the time. He talks to Regan Slater. I think who's still at Hull. He talks to Joe Quigley, who's at Chesterfield. That's Aaron's character. Aaron's character is all, not nothing, is all. He knows where he's come from. He knows who's helped him. And he knows that you don't just win with 11 players, not like in the 70s with Leeds United and Man United when you only had one substitute and you could only use that when there was an injury. Now it's a squad thing. and you don't sulk if you're not playing. Same as one of the best ones ever, Connor Cody. Connor Cody for England. You just look at him from when he was started off with England, with Tyrone Mings. They were all always laughing, always happy, and they weren't playing. Now you need them kind of people, and I would tell you now that Connor's character is the same as Aaron's. But you can't, if you don't know the people, how can you judge them on their, like you said, Kevin, on their character? And that's really what did upset me. I wasn't playing golf at the time. We were watching the game. And okay, so I'd had a couple of beers, but all I said, I didn't say anything abusive. And,
you're defending your son. Because let's be honest here, Soph. Let's be honest here. If somebody verbally attacked a family member and you knew it wasn't right, you're going to defend them.
And even when my family tells me to keep my mouth shut, I will not, and I cannot, and I will never will. And that's it at the end of the bottom line. And here's the scoop, Kev and Nick. When Jesus stood up and applauded Nketiah's hat-trick, or has stood up and applauded goals, why isn't there the same magnifying glass there? Is Jesus being a loser by applauding someone scoring goals?
No, Soph. What it is that goalkeeper talk was the big talk of the time. And that's what will get the most push in the media. But if Jamie was to be honest, he got that wrong. He did. He got that wrong, because for another player to applaud his teammate, that's being a good teammate. That ain't being disingenuous or being sneaky. That's being a good teammate. So he's only done it to cause problems, as far as I'm concerned.
And then you had folks like Danny Murphy who doubled down on all of it. And so I'm sure that the what happened after that for you wasn't easy either, was it, Nick?
Well, the thing was, I was away in Tenerife. There was 16 of us, all from our local pub, who've got a golf society. It was my first time away ever playing golf. First time away with a group of lads. I never did it when I was at school or just after school or 18, 20. I never did that. So while I was out there, I was having a great time. The lads wouldn't let it go because I was in the back of the Mirror, or I was on Sky Sports, and or it was reported and all the rest. And then I thought it had died down. And then all of a sudden, Danny Murphy then was given his 10 penneth worth. I was asked, by the way, to go on TalkSport.
I bet you were.
To reply to what Jamie Carragher had said, but I'd said what I'd said. It wasn't for debate. It was in the moment. That was it. I wasn't then going to justify it. I mean, I've justified it now, but that's because I'm with you. I'm with you two, and I know for a fact it's not going to be misconstrued what I've said. Whereas I was just adding more fuel to the fire if I'd have gone on TalkSport. Really and truly, I should have done, because the game I played of golf, so like on that day, was absolutely terrible. So I wasted 4 hours of walking around the golf course. But
Nick,
again, Danny Murphy, again, he took it to the football side of it. And it wasn't the football side, it was the personal side.
The human side, yeah. Yeah.
They don't make a distinction, right? They think there's like a crossover, right, between professional and personal, and there isn't. And I think they would be the first to, if somebody came up to them having a meal and started getting a bit of grief from somebody, they would turn around and say, "Excuse me, I'm having a meal now. I'm not at work. So they can differentiate between when they're at work and when they're not at work.
Well, here's two things. Number one is we've seen Jamie Carragher behave outside of work, and I'll leave it at that. And secondly, you do realize that what you say on this show, there will be media listening and they will create a narrative.
They'll try.
However they want, but they can always revert back to this show to listen to exactly what you said. But you're aware of this, and that's the good thing, is that you know that being in the limelight and being the father of a Premier League footballer, you know, these things will happen.
By the way.
And you're in England, and he's an England international. And I wonder, I know that you, being a competitor, because you were a competitor when you were younger, and we've talked about this on the show with you a couple of times. I know that you don't have an issue with Aaron losing his place as a competitor. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah. Yeah.
And I also know that you're not on this show today to speak for Aaron. You are speaking as Nick Ramsdale. You're not speaking for Aaron Ramsdale. Just to make that clear to everyone who's listening.
Everything that I say comes from me, only me, nothing to do with Aaron, apart from I'm his father and he's got the same surname as me. But no, this is nothing to do with Aaron whatsoever.
Let me ask you this, because we've gone from moments like this, which were unbelievable, and moments like this, which were just completely and utterly insane, to seeing moments like this with the manager and seeing Aaron in this style that we've all become accustomed to. And then it seems like moments like this have cost Aaron. Mistake at Southampton and the mistake at Brighton, which I also think that Trossard, who's amazing right now, contributed to. And what we haven't seen a lot of is Aaron's smile. I can't imagine that's easy for you to see. And also when you look at how Aaron's summer started with his award and being part of the team of the season, none of those things are easy, and sports isn't easy either, is it, Nick?
Well, no, of course it's not. No, what you do is you try to attain to get to the best you can be. And at the time, Aaron was riding the crest of a wave. He just played against Scotland for England. And then it's all seemed to have come crashing down. And forget, before anybody says, yeah, but they're earning a lot of money. Yes, they are earning a lot of money, but you don't, and Kevin will say, or understand this, you don't go and play sport to earn money. You play sport because you love it. If you do earn good money, then that's a byproduct of it. And to be honest, Aaron's lost that smile that you showed when he was holding on to that ball at the moment in time. And it's difficult. It really is difficult to see him there. And we all keep saying, you know, you need to keep smiling and you need to keep that one there. I mean, that is somebody who's really enjoying what he's doing and what's going on. And at the moment in time, we haven't got that smile with him.
Nick,
and it's very hard.
Nick, one thing I will say is this adversity, because let me tell you something, Nick, and I'm sure Sophie would say the same thing. A lot of Arsenal fans, and listen, for whatever it's worth, a lot of Arsenal fans still see Aaron as number one. Mm-hmm. They don't like the way Aaron's been treated, and they don't see David Raya being any better. I particularly thought possession is 9/10 of the law. Aaron was number one, so he would be the main man. And sometimes it doesn't work out like that. But speaking from a position that something similar happened to me at Arsenal, it's only ever going to make Aaron a better goalkeeper. it's only ever going to make Aaron a better dad, a better man as well. Because one thing I've learned about this football game, Nick, it can all change next week. It can all change in a flash. So maybe that smile's gone that we used to see. But I one thing I could guarantee, and you tell me if I'm wrong, Nick, that determination hasn't gone.
No, not at all. And by the way, let me just say that David Raya is a great goalkeeper, and it's not his fault that the Arsenal supporters, who I see when we're going away, because they do come up and see me because of my hat and because of Prime or the show on Prime. They know who I am. It's not David Raya's fault. He's just come in as a goalkeeper. It's only like Aaron came in and when Bernd Leno was there.
Yeah.
You know, it's nothing to David Raya. Aaron says he's a lovely guy and he works hard with him, and Aaron's trying to help him as much as he can to settle in with the squad. It's possibly the way it's been done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not knowing the reason why, and this is me because we don't know why. But again, Aaron is working as hard as he can. He's trying to do the best for the squad. He's upbeat, and he'll do everything for Arsenal to win the Premier League.
One thing I will ask, Nick, how painful was it? You know, I thought Aaron had an unbelievable game against Brentford in the Cup. And then how painful was it against West Ham? Because the West Ham's first goal, he got fouled. He got fouled right there in the middle of the box, and it wasn't given. So, you know, as a dad, you're watching it and you just want everything to go your son's way, don't you? He gets impeded. I know Ben White heads it in, but he was fouled.
He was fouled, but he was at the back of the goal, and the goal went in at the front. Aaron wouldn't have got there anyway. So that really is. Would they have given the foul if Ben White had headed it over the bar? They wouldn't have done it. It would have been a goal kick. Sorry, a corner. That's incidental, really.
No, yeah, my point is though, he did get fouled.
Well, yeah.
So
well, maybe.
And we've seen many times the referee, because they're protected species, is my point.
Yeah.
Normally you get it, and at that time, Aaron didn't get the rub of the green.
No, I agree with that, yeah. I also, again, you could turn around and say, well, it was a different back four to the normal back four.
Of course.
Different midfield to the normal midfield. So you haven't got, like, you know, Kev, you know, if you're winning all the time and you've got a settled side, everybody knows what they're doing. You bring in two new people for the back four, they don't know what they're doing, so they're not going to be as
comfortable. Not going to be as comfortable in the back four. Yeah, I get that, of course.
You know, so
I just wanted to put this quote up from Gunnar Russ. There may be a tiny percentage gains in stats, put Ray ahead, but I don't see that from my eye test, and I think Aaron is unlucky. And I think this is how a lot of Arsenal fans feel. You could point to some instances in the Tottenham game. You could argue in the first half of the Man City game. There's other moments, but like we've talked about in terms of performance versus results, etc., the way things happen sometimes aren't to our liking. I've had bosses in the past that have made decisions that haven't even told me about it, you know, or I walk into a meeting and I'm like, oh, I didn't know I thought we were meeting at 10. The meeting's now. So there's the part of you talk about things that people don't see and don't know about, Nick, in many ways. And I think this is the hard thing for some Arsenal fans to get their heads around, because he's so beloved, because he had heroic moments, because he helped us get back to Champions League football, because of all these things. And it's not because of David Raya or people not liking David Raya. It's because people love Aaron so much. And this is the part that I think people can't get their head around.
Well, neither can we. But the thing is, you know, you can have 60 odd. Hey up, Ed. All right. Yeah, I'm all right. Ed had just finished his shift in prison, so he's just coming to say hello. But he's just gone now.
Hello, Ed.
Ed, come here. Come here. Come on, no, because
uniform on.
no, you can. Come on.
Oh.
I've already told you work in the prison.
Just give us your hand. Wave.
Give us a hand. Just
Give us a hand.
Ed, give us a hand.
Hurry up.
Right. Or take his jacket off.
There
guys.
he is. Hello,
Hi, Ed.
handsome.
How
How
are
are
You
you?
okay?
You're right.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
Good
How
man,
are
good
you?
man.
How have you babysat yet, Uncle Ed? What's going on?
No, I've not had the chance to go down yet. My little daughter's seen him on FaceTime a lot, so she knows who he is.
Aw.
She shouts his name a lot, which is quite nice. But no, I've because of work and stuff, I've not been able to get down, but I'm hoping to as soon as possible.
Lovely.
Very. And
So-
you must be loving the fact that your dad's dragged you on a podcast as soon as you come home off work, where you probably just want your tea, right?
Yeah, no. So I didn't realise it was going to be a video one, to be honest.
There's a camera crew in the corner.
No, I just
I
thought
mean,
it was
when
going
you
to be a
have
voice one.
when you have Nick Ramsdale, he's got to be on video. Audio's wasted. It's totally wasted. You know.
Oh, wow, I'd like to disagree sometimes, but yeah, he's all right.
Go get a beer.
Yeah, no worries.
Well,
Anyway,
thanks for
it's lovely
saying
to see you
hello,
all.
Ed.
Cheers, Ed.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Care.
See you in a
Stay
bit.
safe. Big
Cheers.
up to Ed. Excellent.
Nick.
300 of you watching in live chat.
Nick,
Hit the like
so
button.
that's why you called him in.
But you needed a refill.
He needed a refill. See, smart. See, the smart. Go well in, Dad. Well in.
I do believe this is why people have children, is so they can send them on errands. There's no other reason why you would want them, to be honest with you.
Do you know what? My boys sometimes used to get it wrong. That's why I never said it. So they used to deliberately get it wrong.
Going back to the
where were you?
question,
Yeah.
we can have 80,000 people not being happy with what's happening, but there's only one man, Mr. Arteta, who's making the decisions. So, you know, we can. I know it fills column inches and all the rest of it. And it's good to talk about why it's happening or why it's not happening. And you know, Aaron seems to be in the news quite often and all the rest of it. However, cheers, Mucket. Thank you.
No problem.
Ever the professional. Only one person knows.
Only one person matters
Yep.
in decision making. Yeah, it's the manager. So, like anything, Nick, head down and keep on grinding. That's all you can do.
Yeah. Kev, you know when you got dropped.
Yeah.
Were you told why you got dropped, or
No, Ian Wright walked in the building. So Ian Wright walked in the building, and actually, what George Graham said was, "I can't play with Ian Wright because me and him are too similar." I mean, how am I similar to Ian Wright? But I understood what he was trying to say. So I went on the training ground and I got back to work. Didn't knock on anybody's door. Didn't throw toys out the pram. I had to get working and get my head down. And listen, when you're at Arsenal, this is the type of thing that can happen, but you've got to earn your place back. And
I agree.
that's what I've done. An injury here, and then you come in and you have a good game, and then you build on that. And then before you know it, you're back to being first choice. So
Correct. Yeah.
you know, this and I truly believe, I've said to Sophie, and we've discussed this before, I truly believe Aaron will get his chance again this season. Truly believe he'll get his chance again this season.
There
Just
seems
make-
to be a finality to it to me, though. If I like, we're having an honest conversation here, because when you saw the changes made at Sheffield United, you would think that Aaron would probably have been given a game there when those changes were made. And I know a lot of Arsenal fans believe he deserved a shot in the Champions League, considering the contribution that he had made. But if you have no explanation, and I will put this up as not my question, but from Lone Star, who is in Texas, if you have no explanation for being dropped, how do you improve?
You get on the
How do
training
you
ground.
know?
No, you get
How
on
do
the
you know what
training
to work
ground.
on?
So you get on the track. This is where video analysis and your coaches are so important, because that I can only really speak about myself and what I've seen happen. That's where you go to your coaches, you watch film, and then you see what you're not so good at. At that time when that happened to me, Alan Smith was a better all-round number 9 than I was. So what do I have to do? I have to then become a better all-round number 9 than I was to compete. Because if Wrighty's not there, I want to be the next one in. And if Alan Smith's not there, I want to be the next one in. Don't forget, there's Paul Merson who could play up there. There's other players who could play up there. I want to make sure I'm next in line. So that's how you improve. You have to be brutal with yourself, so it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Kev, were you told what you had to improve on?
No, I wasn't.
But that was more the norm back in that era, wasn't it? It really was.
I weren't told anything.
So how did you know how to improve on your performance if you weren't told what was going wrong?
And it may sound crazy, I looked at Ian Wright and I looked at Alan Smith, and they're the starters. So they've got to be doing something better than me. So what do I do? How do I improve it? The only way I can improve it is, one, getting on that training pitch and getting some sweating. Getting the grinding. So you pull a coach.
Yeah.
Pull the coach. The coach at the time was Stuart Houston. Paul Stuart Houston. And I said, I've got to do extra. I've got to improve. I've got to get better. Because if I don't get better, I won't be able to challenge these guys.
So was that watching them on the training ground?
Both. I used to take video home.
Right. Okay.
I used to watch it. Evenings, no evenings at dinner and out. No, I go home, put the tape on, and I watch it. I watch my game, some of the games back that I played. Where can I improve? So you've got to be real. Well, I was self-critical of myself, and I needed to get better. That was it. I needed to get better, and luckily, the hard work paid off.
It did, very much so. But if you watch video and you found out that Ian Wright wasn't
as good as you, I'll say it for you.
Then what do you do?
Well, in Aaron's case.
No. Let's not put it down to Aaron.
No. Listen, what I'm saying is, in Aaron's case, is different to me because there's one player. But if you're telling me Aaron can't improve, we're not being realistic.
Oh God, no.
But this is my whole point. It's for Aaron to be able to look at his video like I did. I looked at my video. I looked at who was in front of me. And you got to be brutal. What does he do better than me? What does Alan Smith do better than me? Alan Smith was a tremendous hold. He held the ball up fantastically. That weren't really my game. I could do it, but I wanted to hunt space like Wrighty did. So I understood it. So in my head, I said to myself, right, I've got to improve that hold-up part of my game. I really have to. Because if I don't, it's going to be a problem for me. So that's what I've done on the training pitch, Nick. Went with Stuart Houston, and it was probably 100 balls a day after training, making sure got defenders in, longer balls, where to position yourself a lot better, because it's a different way of thinking. When you're hunting space and when you're holding the ball up, it's a totally different mindset. So I had to change that mindset of hunting space to be able to use my physical attributes. And in fact, Nick, my physical attributes were actually more made for holding the ball up.
Yes.
So I then found my game changed and my game improved because I could add that to it.
So basically, then you became a hybrid of
The two.
Ian Wright
And Alan Smith, yeah.
and Alan Smith. So you could do both. You were two for the price of one.
That's right. 100%. 100%.
It took a hell of a lot of hard work, didn't it?
It did. But hey, listen, I love Arsenal. Arsenal, my club. There was no way I was just going to. I could never leave with a whimper. I had to push and see how well I could do to get back in that side, Nick.
Yeah.
And I was willing to do anything I could. Anything. So that's what I had to do. And it paid off. And
I know.
And my point is this, Nick. Isn't it funny how once I put that work in, and I know this is different to Aaron, a lot of the time in Europe, they played the three of us at times together, you know. Whereas
Well, not many teams would be able to defend against that, would they, in Europe?
No. Well,
No,
that's why we ended up winning the Winners' Cup.
I was trying to find a quote as well, which was sent to me, and unfortunately my phone's on the fritz a little bit. But some of the situation, a lot of Arsenal fans remember that. You've got, Ferguson, the house, and Gunnar Ross. They remember what you went through as well. I think, and I'd like to talk about this a little bit. And a lot of people are saying, hey, this might feel like an uncomfortable conversation, but it's a great conversation. And we're talking as it feels like a bit of a family here. But when you have, I think different to you, Kev, you've got a goalkeeping coach who's come in, who knew the other keeper. You've got an agent who's talking a lot about how Arsenal wanted to sign Raya 2-3 seasons ago, and he was the guy. But then they signed Aaron Ramsdale, and a few of our listeners in the chat have said maybe his agent just needs to keep quiet, which is maybe why some Arsenal fans haven't warmed to him as much yet. And you've got no kind of communication in the modern day game, where we see and we always hear about people talking about how you handle the modern day player, putting your arm around them, mental health issues, all of this kind of stuff. It seems to me that communication, Nick and Kev, is much more fundamental today than it was 25 years ago. And I don't think the agent is painting a good picture here of what the club might actually really think of Aaron. I don't know.
Which agent are we talking? We're talking David Raya's agent.
Yes.
David Raya's agent really and truly is doing his job for the person who employs him, which is David Raya. And I can't see why that's not really a problem. If Mikel Arteta wanted David Raya first of all, then that's factual, that's true.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Not at all. My only problem is when I spoke to Mr. Arteta on the phone before he signed Aaron, he said he wanted Aaron. I've probably gone a bit too far now, but never mind. But now, the David Raya is back on the market, and he's had David Raya. That's not really a problem.
Who's just on loan, by the way. He hasn't been bought by the club. But carry on.
He will be. He will be bought. He will be bought. How many times does a club have a goalkeeper on loan with an option to buy puts
And he'd
them
be-
straight in when
he'd be
you've
ahead
just
of
given.
he'd be ahead of the number one. It's true.
So where does that leave Aaron then?
Well, I don't know, because Aaron's only just signed a new contract of 4 years or 3 years with an option for another 12 months. So I don't really know.
What's the
And
reality of the?
this is honestly truthful. I'm not spinning the yarn, like I said earlier on, and Kevin said it as well. This is purely me. Why would you not re-sign, but why would you extend a goalkeeper or any player's contract, and then 2 months later or 3 months later,
Make a move on someone else.
yeah.
So for you, there was no transparency there.
No, we did not have a clue. I did not have a clue. Our family didn't have a clue. Aaron didn't have a clue that he was not gonna carry on playing. And all of a sudden, he's not been played. Mr. Arteta came out and said, "I've got two number one goalkeepers. I will rotate them." And he's rotated them when it's a Carabao Cup. The next game will be Brentford, because David Raya can't play unless Carl Hein plays.
I'm playing ahead of Aaron. Come on.
Well, depends after this podcast, Kevin.
No, no chance. No chance.
And then you've got the FA Cup, which is the third round of the FA Cup. I can't see. You just have to look at it, right? And again, it is me talking personally. I'm probably saying too much, but Aaron is going to be the cup goalkeeper, and David Raya is going to be the main man, and unless something happens, an injury or a sending off. And Aaron's got to live with that, and he is living with that, even though he's not been told it by anybody.
I think there's a twist.
I'm sorry to put a downer on the old show.
Oh,
No, you're not. You're not putting a downer on the. Kev just told us his experience and not being
Nick,
told.
this is, and you know what, Nick? You know the important part of this, and for some of the squaddies, what they're getting, it's as close. You're getting as close to being on the inside as you can get, because a player can't come on and say what we're talking about. It's because it's your son, you speak to him, etc., but it's coming through your eyes. I can only speak about stuff I've been through in the dressing room. It was a different era, but realistically, still a player who has to graft. One thing we do know, like I said earlier, football, it can change tomorrow, it can change next week. It can change in a second. It really can.
Agree. I totally agree.
And you know what? There ain't a lot of people who look at Raya as any better than Rambo. There ain't. Some might, but there is not a lot of people. A lot of people still think Rambo is and should be number one. And do you know what? Sophie said it before, Nick. It's because Aaron is so loved by the fan base. Because he has made a massive difference to the football club. He has.
He's made a massive difference to the football club. And one of the things I love and have loved about Aaron the most, and I love it about Benjamin White, and I love it about Tomiyasu, and I love it previously about Saka and Emil Smith-Rowe when he was playing, and Martinelli. I love it about Jesus and Zinchenko. I love it about these players who came into the club with a different DNA and player profile, with a seriousness, with no apathy, with really wanting to play for the Arsenal Football Club, kiss the badge, all of that. They changed the culture and the DNA of the club. And the reason why I put this picture up of this particular match is this personified Aaron being a gunner. Plays a gunner, a fan's a gooner. But this personified everything. This game for me was, he had arrived before that, but this game for me was the game where, and you could go to the previous season at the Emirates where he made that double save in the second half, where Tottenham looked like they were coming back in that match. That to me is why there's an affinity and a love. We have history now, and it might be short history, but it's important history. And these players came in when the club was at its lowest. Emile Smith-Rowe and Saka before Ramsdale and White and Tomiyasu arrived, they carried the club on their shoulders, these two Halen boys, all on their own. They were asked to do a lot. And what I think as a fan, you ask, and it's the same thing with my employer, dude, you're asking me to do so much and I've already given you so much. What else do you need to see from me for me to get that promotion? And I know there's a shit ton of people in the live chat right now who have felt and feel the same way as I do. And some people say Aaron's young, he still has a lot to prove. Well, the philosophy at Arsenal's always been come in and prove yourself. Look what Eddie Nketiah had to do to get a game. Look what Martinelli had to do to prove himself. And it just feels like, I think partly why, and I'm not speaking for all Arsenal fans, I'm speaking for some that have communicated with me, is they don't feel Raya earned it, Kev. And that's where the rubber meets the road.
I understand, but as Nick quite rightly said before, doesn't matter what you think. There's only one person who makes the decisions, unfortunately. So, we could go around feeling sorry for ourselves. He ain't earned it, but if the manager picks him, he picks him. So,
don't forget though, Soph. Squads evolve all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going to be there forever, right? So David Raya's not pulled up trees so far. Who's to say he's not going to? Yeah, you've got to give the guy a chance, for God's sake. Even though, even though the way it's been done, in my eyes, it's been wrong, and we can talk about that. But that's the decision. So really and truly, we've all got to get behind David Raya. He's part of the family now. Whether it's only until, May, June of next year, it won't be. It'll be longer in my eyes, but that's by the by. But you've got to. We can't lose what we got last year. We can't lose the way the whole of the squad was, the way the feeling was of the club, the way it was like it was in the Emirates, right? I'll put my feelings aside. The family will put their feelings aside. The people I meet, to me, ought to do the same. Okay, so let's say Aaron's been hard done by. That's fair enough. We all agree on it. But the end goal is winning the Premier League.
Success, yeah.
Now, whether it's with Aaron or without Aaron, whether it's Aaron on the bench, it's not fair on David Raya, right?
No, I mean, it's the same way I tell fans to get behind Havertz right now, who's having a horrible time.
And singing Aaron's name when he makes a mistake is no good for anybody. It makes me feel really happy. I nearly swore then, but for the result of the club, it's not conducive to us winning the goal we want, which is Premier League, Champions League even. Mm-hmm. Whether Aaron's here or whether he's not here, or whether he's on the bench or whether he's not on the bench, come on, we're all Gooners at the end. And I'm a West Bromwich Albion fan, for God's sake. And now I'm a Gooner.
Wow. Exactly.
Do you know?
Well, you know what? Then maybe I have a problem. And my listeners know I wear my heart on my sleeve. But I felt like we had a manager who was, okay, every manager plays his cards close to his chest, but he also talks about being transparent, this family. what we're building, this culture. And I feel like he's saying one thing in the presser, and there, I said it out loud, everyone. Some of you wanted me to put that out there, and I have. And
That's a
he's
different story.
Of course, it's a different story, but this is why I actually have empathy for David Raya, because I think he's been put in a horrible situation. Because if Mikel Arteta had come out at the very beginning and said, "This is my number one guy. This is my guy. This is the Arsenal starting goalkeeper," I wouldn't have done shows on it. I wouldn't have spoken to Kevin about it. I wouldn't have tweeted about it. And thousands and thousands and thousands of Arsenal fans would also not have done the same. And I know that some people have a hard time sometimes if I say something negative or critical about Mikel Arteta. Doesn't mean I hate him. Doesn't mean I want him to not be Arsenal manager. But can we not also point out mistakes when they happen? You know, you make it clear about certain players in the team. Kev, that would have taken care of business early, and this would have been a moot point.
Yeah, but Sophie, you make a really good point, but the manager doesn't have to do that. He doesn't have to. And if he did have to, he would have. Problem is, he doesn't have to do that, because all of a sudden now he wants competition. And he's going to need competition all over that football pitch. Right? Now, if in January, if we go and bring in 3 midfielders and there's some of our midfielders who ain't starting, or somebody ain't starting and they're on the bench, what are we going to say? Oh, you can't do that because you should have said that this guy coming in is going to be your number one. No, it's not what you do. You bring the players in because you know what? You don't know whether he has to drop David Raya in the end. So if he turns around and
but he hasn't backed what he said. I've got 2 goalkeepers, and if there's a mistake or whatever, and we've seen the mistakes, and he's not backed up what he said. It's very different to the striker situation or Kai Havertz coming in. Goalkeepers are a different breed. You always say to me, Kev, they're built differently. The way you train is different. Everything about goalkeepers is different. And I believe, right, if he had done that from the get-go, because he set up his own self by the things that he said, and he didn't live by them, Kev.
Yeah, but Sophie, he doesn't have to.
Well, then why say you're going to rotate the goalkeepers if you had no intention of doing that? Why?
But he can turn around and say, I did rotate the goalkeepers. And you say, where have you rotated? I rotated in the Carabao Cup.
He's getting out on a technicality with the Carabao Cup.
No, Soph. No, he's not. The problem is, Sophie, he's not going to rotate to suit you. He's going to rotate to suit him because he's the manager. That's the difference.
Then don't make out you're Mr. Honest and you're Mr. This and that
Sophie, it don't matter about Mr. Honest. He has rotated, or hasn't he not?
Kev, come on.
No, I'm asking you a question. Simple. Has he rotated? Yes or no?
No, he's taken the easy route out.
Has he rotated? Yes or no, Sophie?
No, he's dropped Aaron and he's played him in the cup, the Carabao Cup.
So he's rotated. So in his eyes, he's rotated.
Sure, he's rotated in his eyes.
In your eyes, he hasn't. But that's the difference. You're not manager.
No, I'm not manager, but I'm a fan.
Yeah,
all right?
and
I'm an Arsenal fan.
I'm a fan.
And it's my opinion that had he handled this situation very cut and dry, like he has had many and said many things cut and dry, this would have been a moot point. It wouldn't have been a narrative for Jamie Carragher or Danny Murphy or Gary Neville, Sky Sports, TalkSport, me, AFTV, the Gooner Talk TV, the Chronicles of a Gooner, the 12th Man podcast, any Arsenal show on the planet. It wouldn't have been an issue at all.
Sophie,
that's just my humble opinion.
Sophie, but you can only look at it from your point of view. You can't look at it from the manager's point of view. But rightly so, because you're not the manager. Unfortunately, the manager has to do things to suit him. And you know what? Let me tell you something.
Suit the team, not him,
Sophie.
Kev.
No, Sophie.
Well, then suit him. He's not Arsenal. He's managing Arsenal.
No, hold on. Can I finish? If it's going to suit him, that means for him, it's going to suit his team.
It should suit the team, not him.
No, did you hear what I just said? I said.
Well, yeah, you switched it a little bit.
No,
if I'm
I
being
didn't.
honest.
No, I didn't. Because if it suits him, it has to suit his team.
Oh.
It's that simple. Now, you could agree, you could disagree. It doesn't really matter, because you know what? The guillotine in the end comes down on his neck, whether he gets it right or wrong.
But this is true what Gunnar Russ is saying. Ruthless with Aaron, not so ruthless with Eddie or Havertz.
Yeah, but Gunnar Russ,
Because it suits him.
Yeah, but I've already said that. It suits
But it's
the
not.
manager.
Doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it right.
It makes it right for the manager. And that's all that matters, as Nick said. All that matters is one person. So we could crow on about, oh, but he doesn't do it for this one, he doesn't do it for that one.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Havertz suits him, but not the team right now. Well said, Reggie.
Doesn't matter. No
it
problem.
does matter because it affects the side.
It doesn't
Anyway,
matter.
hi, Nick. How you doing? You're right.
We're second in the table, 1 point behind Manchester City, so we ain't doing too bad.
No, we're not. We're,
top of our
well,
group
hold on a second.
Top of our group in the Champions League. So he hasn't done too bad.
No, he hasn't done too bad. But let me tell you something as well. You can't tell me we're playing. I don't know, and I don't care, because look where we are in the table and look where we are in the Champions League. Fine. But something's missing this season. Again, I'm just talking as a fan.
Yeah, but
there's something missing on the pitch. I know we're playing differently. I know we're playing possession-based football. There's no creative.
None.
No, I know. I'm just speaking like it's
no,
different.
But I'm saying,
the vibe's different. Even the atmosphere at the Emirates is different, Super Kev. It's not as great.
Look what they've done with the Ashburton Army.
They make mistakes. I mean?
No, exactly. So from what you had, you take some of that away. It's crazy, but it is what it is.
Why would you take that away? It was a winning formula. They were fantastic. The way they've changed the ticket allocation, the atmosphere's different, the vibe's different. Everything feels a little bit different. Nick, how have you found the vibe? How have you found the vibe at the stadium this season?
We're still winning, aren't we? We're second. It's not as fun as it used to be.
A lot of fans have said that this weekend.
After I can only say from when Aaron came in, obviously. We had the 3 games, Bernd Leno played, and then Aaron came in. It wasn't Bernd Leno's fault. The writing was on the wall already, but that's by the by. Aaron came in. It was a toxic place. Then all of a sudden it became like a house party to me. And then the second season when Aaron was there, this is his 3rd season now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Last season was a house party. It almost seems like the house party now, Mum and Dad have just come back home. And there's a bit of mess everywhere, and Mum and Dad aren't too happy, and then all of a sudden the atmosphere goes down like a lead balloon. That's only me, but then people will turn around and say, well, I'm being sour grapes because Aaron's not playing. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I don't really know. I don't really think that. Again, we've built up this great atmosphere. If Mr. Arteta gets the actual end result and we do win the Premier League, it doesn't really matter. What do you want? Do you want a great atmosphere and come second or third all the time? Not too good an atmosphere and you win the Premier League and the Champions League. Again, it's like going to it's going to certain clubs and certain fans want their team to play in a certain way. I can't say Spurs can, because you'll all go boo, boo, boo. But they want their team to play in a certain way. And they're quite happy for them to play in a certain way. Whether they win or lose. I think Mr. Arteta is a serial winner. He wants to be a serial winner, and he will do anything to win.
Which is probably a good thing.
Yes. There you go then. So you said it's a good thing.
No, which is probably a good thing for some.
Okay, yep. That's like Carlsberg Lager, probably the best lager in the world.
Exactly.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Mine's Perrier, by the way. Oh, we haven't had. Yes, there we go.
Stella ad.
Going into Ronnie's funds.
Thank you very much. So it's got to be. It's a fine balance. Kevin knows it's a fine balance. That's why you two have just had a little bit of a, a tete-a-tete kind of thing.
We love a tete.
I understand what you're doing, Soph. I understand what Kevin's doing. Kevin's coming from it from being a professional footballer, and you're coming from being a fan. And it's got to be. It's very difficult to marry the two.
You know
Kevin's
why, Nick?
going with his head. You're going with your heart.
Can I just say,
and I love
right?
him.
I understand. I was in Chicago in a pub, about to go on and do a great event with some great Arsenal people, and this happened, and it was horrible. I mean, you could point to the Brighton mistake as well, but I also remember these things, and I remember these saves. And I also think that Saka missing a penalty against West Ham, our strikers missing opportunities. Super Kev was on this show multiple times last season talking about how we can't finish our dinner. We need a striker. It's costing us games. I, as a fan, would like to know, why is it those players that don't perform or that are inconsistent still get the opportunity? That's the beef I have as a fan. And I don't think that's emotional. I think that's logical.
Let me tell you why. Right? You're a midfielder, you misplace a pass, it costs nothing. Doesn't cost the team anything. You're a forward, Kevin knows this. He misses a sitter, let's say it's 6 yards out, and he blazes it over the bar because it comes up and hits his shin or just underneath his knee and goes over the bar. Kevin knows that there's going to be another chance coming, right? It means nothing, right, until he gets another chance. A defender, Ben White, puts the ball in the back of his net, because he heads it into it. Aaron was being impeded, fair enough. Or a goalkeeper makes a mistake, it's a goal. You can't then rub out the goal. All right, mate. You going to say goodbye? Hold on. He's going now. See you later, guys.
Bye, Ed. Take
you,
care.
take care.
Lots of love.
All the
We'll
best.
have Dad done in a few minutes
Thanks for
here.
coming on.
See you, mate. So there's jeopardy in the position that a goalkeeper takes and a defender takes. That's the difference. If that makes sense. Kevin knows he's going to get a chance, another chance, another chance, another chance. He'll probably put 2 out of 3 away. The goalkeeper makes one mistake. Kevin doesn't take the chance. We lose 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's brutal. It is brutal, Nick. It is brutal.
It's one of the hardest positions. I think 2 of the hardest positions in all of sports are quarterback in the NFL, a pitcher in baseball, and a goalkeeper in football.
Well, that's 3 then, because you said 2.
Did I say 2? I meant 3. I can't count. I told you I was shit at maths a long time ago.
Can I just say addition and arithmetic were 3 of my best subjects at school as well.
There's a lot of comments in the live chat and 400 of you in watching, and we've been talking for 1 hour and 20 minutes. I can't believe it. Doesn't feel like it. It feels like it's been 5 minutes, and everyone has a lot to say about playing out from the back, kicking out from the back, not being good with his feet, like Raya not being as good as a shot stopper, this and that, and the comparisons, and you could do the same with the strikers and with the midfielders. And right now, a lot of Arsenal fans don't think Havertz deserves to be in the team. But I tell you what I do respect is you coming on this show and having a conversation with us that some people may like, some people may not. But it's been nothing but honest. And you have to respect that.
Yeah, it is what it is. We've got no preconceptions. You haven't fed me any questions or asked me to do any answers. So whatever it is. By the way, on Kai Havertz, the guy works his socks off. It's just not working for him at the moment in time. Whether he's found the right position or whatever, or I don't know, but you can't say he doesn't work hard.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I'm concerned, you might all have different bloody ideas, but to me, watching him live, watching him at home, watching him away, he doesn't just amble around taking the money, let's say. And you know what I'm on about, Kev. You could have run for 80 odd minutes out of the 90 odd minutes and done absolutely nothing, or had no absolute chance. But you've worked your socks off for the team. That people don't see when you're running off the ball, or you knock something down, or you block somebody for somebody else to run onto. You're still working for the team. And I think we ought to cut the guy a little bit of slack. 65 million. He didn't ask for 60. He hasn't put that in his bank account. It's not his 65 million. So I think sometimes we have to,
Stick with our guys. Stick with our guys.
Yeah.
Stick with our guys. And I know it's hard because there always has to be a boogeyman. I don't know why, but there always has to be somebody. Yeah. Somebody has to be the fall guy.
That's right? A show that we've done on Opinionated that hasn't aired yet, that Kev did with Tom Canton, is why does there always have to be a scapegoat at the Arsenal? And for some people right now, that could be Raya, that could be Ramsdale, that could be Havertz, that could be Eddie Nketiah. That could be whoever.
But Soph, do you remember we've discussed this previously, and I'll say this with Nick on. We don't even need to do that because the media are going to try and do it for us. That's why we have to stick together. That's why we've got to, if we have to stick two of them up to them and say, no, you're not doing that to us. We love our team. Yeah, we can be playing better. So, of course, we want everybody to play well, but that's the impossibility of it. Everybody's not going to play well all the time. So,
a nice comment from Barry as well for everyone to digest. Yeah, go on, Nick.
A lot of people want us to. Well, I can stay as long as you want. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. Me chicken and mushroom pies are like burnt anyway. You can't play champagne football all the time. Sometimes you have to play beer football. Basically, you have to get down and dirty with everybody and win dirty. And if you win 1-0, then you win 1-0. We've still got the 3 points. Sometimes some of the football we've played in the last few years have been absolutely superb, but you can't do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't keep it up. It's impossible.
Nick,
but we're going in the right way, Kev.
I said the time for us to play well isn't now. The time for us to start playing well is after Christmas, New Year time. When you're going on, that's when we need to start playing well.
When Man City do.
You need to keep close, though. But you need to keep close, and that's exactly.
Which is why we are controlling games a little bit better, I suppose. Not being as fluid, 100% we're not. But we control games a lot better. Don't seem as vulnerable at home, especially, to counterattack sometimes. So,
there you go.
Aye.
Now we're talking. I'm assuming we don't want to talk about VAR tonight before we go. I mean, why would we do that to ourselves? It's just, I mean, what's the point, right? There's no point.
VAR.
I don't mind. I've got
There's no point, Kev, is there? I mean, I think we're over it. It's not going away. It's going to be brutal. It's going to continue to piss us off. So why even talk about it?
Yeah, but Soph, here's the one. Here's the one for all Arsenal fans. There was a push on the back on Gabriel, which never got penalised, and a so-called push in the back of Haaland, penalty.
I mean,
that sums it up, Sophie.
yeah.
Where's the consistency?
This is why it's like there's no reason. What's the point? It's like the same thing every week. If it's not Liverpool, it's Wolves. If it's not Wolves, it's us. If it's not us, it's someone. Man United,
Kev,
whoever.
Yeah.
Kev, you can't have consistency when it's not the same person doing the job.
Mm.
Think about it.
Well, listen.
You think about it. What you might think. I don't know why I'm pointing at you. I do apologise. what you might think is a foul, I might not.
Yeah, but Nick, listen. We're talking about professional referees and people here. Because here's the funniest thing, Nick, about consistency. I don't know what your favorite tipple is, but this is one thing I do. But this is one thing I do know. Yeah, but this is one thing I do know, Nick.
Yeah.
If you bought that in London and then you bought that in Stoke and it tasted different, would you be happy?
Does beer taste different in Stoke? That's great.
No, but you wouldn't be happy. But there's a consistency with it.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know which dwarf I'd be.
Right. I don't know. But
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
All we're asking for is it the same? It's the same. In fact, Gabriel's was much worse because
it was two. It was like he was giving him CPR on his neck.
He was off his feet on his back. Joe Linton was. So,
but okay, then let's just change that for one quick second.
Mm-hmm.
Cricket, and they go to ball tracking.
Oh, sorry. Did someone say cricket?
Yeah, cricket. Hold on. Go to ball tracking, and it's a computer that takes the batsman out of the way to see where the ball would go, which is a bit like AI kind of thing.
Yeah.
Could we do that kind of thing with stuff like the two hands on the back? So you take the human element out of it and literally go down to the law of football or the rules of football and go, right, there's no human decision. It's purely a computer doing it and going by the rules of the law, two hands on your back, whether the player was falling down in the first place. It's just, that's it. Would you want...
saying we don't need a ref on the pitch? You would just have technology.
No, I'm totally opposite. I think we ought to get rid of all of that and just go back to 3 people who are in charge.
Scrap it, yeah.
Do you think ex-players should be involved or be VARs?
No, because I prefer to scrap it anyway.
Yeah.
So if they wouldn't let ex-players anywhere near it.
VAR, when VAR first came in, allegedly it was meant to take out all of these talking, problems, sorry, Kev, that kind of thing. So people in the pub, us 3, wouldn't be sitting around a table drinking beer or wine or whatever going, well, that was a mistake. There's even more mistakes now with VAR.
Well, Nick, I'm gonna make a statement here.
Ooh, we like statements.
the only way VAR was brought in to get things right.
Yeah.
So therefore, the only way you can get them wrong is because you want them to be wrong. Because
Kevin.
Because you know what? This is what, hold on, this is what everybody tells me. It's not the technology, it's the person. But the person uses the technology. So if you can't use everything at your disposal to get the right decision, then you do not want to get the right decision.
It's a little bit like me with the new Hoover. I kind of don't want to Hoover anyway, you know, and it's a bit complicated. So I just kind of like park it to the side. Don't want to deal with it. So I just leave it there. That's not really the same, but it's like you're saying
No,
similarly.
nothing the same at all.
Nothing
That's
the same.
Of course
at all.
it's not.
You're basically Sophie, you're basically saying that you want to employ a cleaner.
Yes,
Because you
I
can't
do.
be bothered to do it.
Which, by the way, we need to employ cleaners to clean up vase. Let's be honest. So really, my comment is correct to you guys.
But so they've got that new panel. Have you not the new panel?
Oh God, it's as good as the American Idol panel. I mean,
it's
it's
incredible,
still,
isn't it?
it's just yeah.
So Kevin, basically what you're saying, what you're intimating is there might be a little bit of bias towards certain clubs.
All I'm saying is this, Nick. I don't know whether it's biased to certain clubs. I don't know. What I'm saying is the only way you get things wrong when you've got all the technology at your disposal is because you want to get it wrong. Because it's harder to get wrong with everything. It's harder.
So it's a bias then against or for the top teams.
Well, I don't know.
Yes,
because you know
it
what?
is.
No. Because Wolves, by the way, 2 weeks in a row, a player has kicked the floor and got penalties. No top teams involved.
How many refs from up north as well, Kev?
Look, and again,
we've been given the numbers.
But again, when they go to
Russ.
that VAR, and they've got slow-mo, they can look at it from a different angle, and you can see it. You can see the players have kicked the floor, for instance. So to give a penalty means that you deliberately want to get it wrong. And that's for these guys in the media, by the way, who are all of a sudden backing the referees, whereas, hold on, when Mikel Arteta kicked off, they were slaughtering Mikel Arteta, saying the referees were right, etc., etc.
Did they credit him today when he said that they got Vieira's decision right?
But so, who was it? Was it the Chelsea game and stuff like that, where or Spurs?
Oh, the Liverpool game.
Everything
the
else
Spurs
is
game.
fine. Everything else is
Exactly.
fine. It's ridiculous.
But they didn't credit Arteta when he said that the referee got Fabio
Everything
Vieira's.
spot on. No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't.
Right.
They wouldn't do that.
Right. Exactly. The broadcasters have a tremendous amount of influence. Human mistakes. I'm with Rambo's dad. Lots of people agreeing with Rambo's dad this evening. Right. An hour and a half in. I'm feeling a little parched myself. What do you want to say to the squaddies? Obviously, Kev has the last word. Mr. Super Nick Ramsdale, what would you like to share with the squaddies before you depart this evening?
You haven't told me that, have you?
What?
You haven't asked me that before. You didn't.
I tell you that every show when you come on, that you like your closing statement.
I've only done 4.
I mean, you're wearing your magic hat.
Since he's put that hat on, he's changed.
Okay,
He
then.
has changed.
I'll take this off. I'd just like to say to the Arsenal Forum, yes, I am albino Nick. That'll do for that. I would just like to say, no matter what happens, Aaron is a gooner. We are all gooners. The team, the club are going in the right direction. And I'm just really, really proud that you've invited me on, Kev, Sophie, for so many times. And by the way, Ronnie just said to me,
Where's my nightcap?
Mr. Mannering.
That's absolutely brilliant. There's a photo I need to see. The little Ronnie doing the salute.
We are going to get Ronnie a hat, by the way.
Oh yeah.
We're going to get him one of these.
A mini. Love it. A mini.
Do the parents approve? Everyone wants to buy you a pint, by the way. Very popular is Mr. Nick
Everybody
Ramsdale
can.
with the Squad Nation. If you see him at a game, just buy him a pint.
God no.
And we do. We love him coming on the show too. Your chicken pie, by the way, I wish I could have that when I get off the show. There's no doubt about that. Super Kev, it's been one of those shows that, you know, it feels like we've just been hanging out and having a little meal and having a catch up. And that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
And it's been wonderful for me, and it's been good tonic for me. No doubt about that. And just because you guys always send good vibes to the universe, just wanted to put this out. This is actually an old picture of my mama, who's super cute. And this is my mum in my office at Nakatomi Plaza when I worked at 20th Century Fox. My first ever office at Nakatomi Plaza. That's the Die Hard building. And this was when she came out to see my life when I moved to Hollywood, and we hung out together. And just, you know, when you're all saying your bits tonight, just think of Flora Nicolaou. I would love that very much. And that's all I have to say. Super Kev, over to you.
Listen.
Before Kev.
Go on, Nick.
From the Ramsdale family, praise to Mum. That's all I want.
Thank you, Nick. Thanks very much.
Squaddies, you know where this is going. We always send our love to the people we love, especially Flora and her daughter and everybody in the family, to all the Ramsdales, and especially new Ronnie. We've got to say, send him all our Arsenal love, because he's the next generation coming through. We love that. What I will say is this, everybody. Thanks to Nick Ramsdale for coming on. It's never easy sometimes coming on. And listen, he's got a son who plays for the Arsenal, who's been instrumental at Arsenal, but he's not first choice at the moment, and it's never going to be easy. But Nick comes on and he handles it with such dignity and expertise. So, Nick, thank you so much for coming on and giving Carragher some stick. Well done. But you know what, squaddies? We thank you for joining us, and we thank you for listening to us as well. We really appreciate you. We appreciate you hitting the like button. We appreciate you coming and joining and being part of our community. And like we always do, we always say, tell your loved ones you love them. Do not wait. Tell them. And on that note, squaddies, you know what comes next? At ease, squaddies. At ease.
Damn it. Ready? It's not ready at all. Hold on one second. Here we go. Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.